don't know if you guys saw that. That rider was nice enough to give me the universal sign of the police ahead. The universal for motorcycle riders, I guess I should say. If I had to guess, they're going to be up here in this town up ahead, a little village area where the speed limit drops to 45 and then it drops to 35. Interestingly, no one else has given me this warning. No one's flashing lights. I've been trying to keep it in check in general. You know, I took the windshield back off because I thought 70 degrees was going to be warm enough. And as soon as I get out here, you know, when you get in this 50-ish to 70 range for me, it's right on the fence of what sort of gear to wear, heated or not. Because to me, it's a little bit chilly, especially on my lower half. Now, the other thing I need to do at this time of year is put on the leather closeouts. That helps as well. The guy gave me the sign that the police were here. So far, I don't see anything. But I imagine they're going to be up here. The cynic in me would think that he did that even though there's nobody here. But you don't want to think that. I have got to change the setting back on this camera on my handlebars so that I can monitor it. That small red dot is just too small to quickly and safely check to make sure it's still recording. I guess he's talking about this police officer right here. I don't even think he's trying to hide that much, except for maybe people coming from this direction, and it's a little tougher. Now in Seinfeld, he would yell when Kramer yelled, "Your lights are on!"
Hey, your lights are on!
It's a funeral procession.
Do you guys stop for funeral processions? Seems like that's become a thing of the past. And if you do it, it's a good way to get hurt. People coming up from behind you, not expecting it. And see, out here, the wind gusts are so strong that it makes me want to have the windshield again, because what you'll see is like my upper body will catch some of the wind and my head, and it pushes me back. And of course, the faster I go, the worse it is. You know, it literally feels like I'm just holding on to the bike to stay on. And today's not even a particularly windy day. It said wind gust up to 9 miles per hour. How do you guys feel about interstate riding like this, or highway riding on your cruisers when there's this much wind? Like, to me, this is not real enjoyable. The gusts are pushing me around. If I was on my other Indian that's lighter, it'd push me around even more, but it is really hitting the body really hard, and I feel like I'm tensing up, trying to just hold on to the bike, and then the occasional head back where it throws my head backwards. So I feel like I'm leaning into it rather than sitting more straighter up. I don't know if you guys can tell it, but like my head is getting boxed around like a boxer, you know, as the wind hits it. And so is the bike a little bit. Bikes may use full lane. I've never seen that sign before. So I'm riding the bike to Chickahominy Riverfront Park. I don't think I've ever been coming in from this way when I've been down this side of the state. The GPS is taking me to Route 5. I've been on Route 5 many times, but not this road, I don't think. Let's see. We're entering Charles City County, leaving New Kent. And I think the park is in James City County. The reason I'm going to this riverfront park is I saw it's a place I can legally fly my drone, or launch my drone from. Some of the state governments and local governments have banned the launching of drones from their grounds, which as a drone pilot is really annoying. Now they can't say you can't fly over the park because they don't control the airspace. You'll still see some places try to act like they do, but the FAA regulates airspace, and you don't own the space above your property. You own the ground. So that's interesting the way that works in terms of, you know, you wouldn't think twice about a Delta plane flying way up in the air, but at what point is it too low? And that comes up with our, legally we can't fly higher than 400 feet. So, you know, if something's 400 feet above your property, you may not even notice a little drone. You might hear it. But say you're on a tractor or an ATV or in your car, you may not even hear the drone. But is 50 feet, you know, going to the other end of the extreme? I thought the sign said the speed limit was 45, but this still says 55. Go in between, I guess, for now, until I see another sign. Route 5 is a very historic route with a lot of historic homes all up and down it. Robert E. Lee had a childhood home there. John Tyler, President John Tyler, has a home there. I guess Berkeley Plantation, where the first Thanksgiving was held. I think that's their claim to fame there. Let's see. Which one am I leaving out? There's a couple more. Shirley Plantation's probably my favorite. It was a childhood home of Robert E. Lee. Been there a number of times, but it's been a while. Sherwood Forest is John Tyler's home. Been there a long time ago. So this is Route 5. They destroyed everyone's private property a number of years ago to put this bike route, bike lane. I know every time I make any comments about bicycles, the little bicycle community gets all up in arms, but you know, as long as they're taking someone else's private property, they don't really care. They put in this little bike lane because that's what liberals want us to do, is all ride our bicycles everywhere, as if people are going to commute to work from Richmond to Williamsburg on their bicycle. Now, right there, people will argue that it happens and that one person does it, so that justifies the taking of all this historic land on this historic road and make a bicycle path. But that's what they did, and they're making even more of them. And, you know, eventually I feel like, you know, the land I own is probably going to be targeted. And you can see it's getting a lot of use. You know, it's, oh look, there's one person right there. You know, it's not the warmest month. There's a few more folks, but you know, if you own that land, you would feel a lot different about it. But somebody looked at this and said, you know what? We should be able to ride our bikes down this, and so we're going to take everybody's property from Richmond to Williamsburg. We're going to take your property so that other people can ride their bikes on it. It just bothers me so much. And these people have had to deal with litter, people hanging out there, people stopping for snacks and, you know, eating picnics on their property, things like that. You know, and having, you know, I could put all the disclaimers I want about my views on it. The bicycle community is going to remind me that it's legal for them to ride on the road. And would I rather have them on the road here rather than safer on that sidewalk and on that dedicated path? Because it's legal, all caps, exclamation point, for them to ride on the road. They pay taxes too. See, that's what I get every time. Because that's their arguments. And when people like me say, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you get a license plate for your bike, pay bike insurance, it's mandatory, or a fine if you don't carry it, get a personal property sticker that you have to pay taxes on, registration, then we'll talk. Then we'll talk about, you know, but, you know, we let bicycles be on the road because they're better than us, don't you know? They're not polluting the environment with big, nasty SUVs. So we should let them ride on the road with no problem because they were better than you and me. Most of these people are not commuting to a job. It's just exercise in their hobby. This is Sherwood Forest on my right, home of President Tyler. Can't see much from the road. Notice I didn't take his property. The schlubs over here, they take their property. And you'll see this road crisscrosses Route 5. You know, in large part probably based on who had the most influence, which also should have an equal sign to the most money, probably, to get it off their property. So it crosses Route 5. And, you know, I'll always mention, I rode mountain bikes for years. In fact, I'm thinking about getting back into it. When I was in much better shape, I mountain biked in the woods, not on the road. I love biking. And I had some snarky people, oh yeah, what brand bike did you own, bruh? It just annoys me. Anybody that starts or finishes a sentence with bro and bruh, you've lost me. As if somebody couldn't Google the name of a mountain bike and just put it there. Like you're a detective, you are, by asking what bike I owned to prove that someone didn't mountain bike. You're quite the madlock. It's ridiculous. But anyhow, I used to mountain bike, and I just never thought riding and putting a little piece of metal out on a road. I was a fellow Indian owner. You know, this is dangerous enough, and I'm keeping up with the speed of traffic. And these people that get out here riding their bicycles going, 5 to 10 miles an hour, whatever they're doing. And, it's dangerous. And then their comment back is, well, they think the same thing about you. This guy is... You wanna pass? You wanna go ahead and pass? You got a problem, Shaquitha? This lady came up behind me going about 90 miles an hour and was riding my rear end, so I slowed down to let her pass. I mean, she must be going almost 90 miles an hour out here on this little road. Yeah, so when you point out that riding the bicycle out here is dangerous, they'll say, well, they think you riding a motorcycle is dangerous. And there's one huge difference is the motorcyclist will say, I assume everyone doesn't see me and my safety's on myself. They'll say, it's your duty to look out for me and to always look out for me. And of course, when I say this, then they'll say, are you telling me you don't look out for hazards in the road? That's what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Okay, but I don't have enough faith in my fellow travelers on this road that they're always going to see me. So I act defensively. You were taught that when you were taught to drive defensively, but not the bicyclist. The bicyclist, 100%, it's on you to look out for them. And anytime there's an accident, it's your fault, which legally is probably true. That's why it's a danger for them to be out here. But, you know, I always make the point, why stop at bicycling? You're bicycling healthy, you're doing it for exercise. Why not do some jumping jacks? Why not jog in place? Let's put a weight bench right here. I mean, after all, I'm supposed to be looking out for obstacles in the road. Put a weight bench right there and we can swerve by that. It's very important people exercise. You know, let's set up some stations along the road. You know, set some weight stations along the road here so everybody can get in their workout. I mean, after all, it's on us to look out for them. Well, I tell you, the last time I did the video, the mob of people came out with the same predictable things, as if one, they're going to change my mind, and two, I haven't heard it all before. We've all heard it all before. They have a right to be out here. It's healthy. They pay taxes, and they have less impact on the roads than our big old motorcycles and SUVs. We've heard it all before. But yet that won't keep them from putting the comments down. If you don't like it, go make your own darn video about how you don't like motorcyclists. But see, they'll say they don't mind motorcyclists. I actually had one guy say he thought we were all in this together about getting cars to see us. We're all in this together. No, we're not all in this together. You should be on the road. A 55-mile-an-hour zone, and then let's take somebody with a little bicycle helmet and a piece of metal and put them out here going 5 miles an hour and act like it's not dangerous for everybody. There's a reason on the interstate, on the on-ramp, there's a little sign, and one of the things is no mopeds or bicycles allowed. And when you say, well, why is that? Well, it's because people are moving very fast, and the introduction of these slow-moving vehicles is dangerous. But wouldn't people like to be able to use the interstate to go from Richmond to North Carolina much quicker? But if it's true on that road, and we all accept the premise that it is, why is 55 miles an hour on a 2-lane road like this one not as bad? It's not as if there's not a passing lane on I-64. Sometimes there's 4 lanes of traffic, even more. But you know, you're never going to convince them because it's their hobby and they want to be able to ride their bicycles on the road. And it's legal. Don't forget, right here, you got to say, it's legal for them to do that. Exclamation point, all bold, underline, caps. As if we didn't know that, right? That's the whole point. We've legalized dangerous behavior, and it's dangerous for everyone. Me riding my motorcycle, typically not going to be dangerous to you. No. But you riding your bicycle out here creates a dangerous situation for everyone who has to slam on their brakes, who might hit you because they can barely see you. But you'll get the lecture. It's your responsibility to look out for them. See, that's my point. The motorcyclist will want you to look out for them, but we assume you're not driving defensively. But not those bicyclists, man. Some of them be like right here on this road. They'll be decked out in all green and yellow to blend in with the fall colors. They look pretty. You can't see them, like we're in camouflage. I guess Shaquitha and her car, that was the female driver that passed me, Shaquitha, and I probably shouldn't pass this guy. Guess she's long gone. I'm almost, I think where I'm going is right over the hill here. The hill meaning this bridge. I want to see if I can actually get some drone footage of this bridge. All right. There's one boat out there. Not a lot of boats to get video of, but maybe I can get some of the bridge, and we'll see. Let's see. I've never been here before.
Guys, not real happy with myself. I rode the motorcycle, whatever it was to get here, hour and 20 minutes or so, to fly the drone. And I had my drone with me. I do not have the drone batteries. This is why I said I need to create a spreadsheet and start checking every little thing before I pull out. I had, I guess, went to charge the batteries and left them there. My workflow failed me. Normally I put the batteries back with the drone and leave the drone case open when there's no batteries in the case, but I didn't do that this time, so no drone footage, but it was a nice ride. See you on the road.